Welcome, welcome to D Holloway's Midlife Takeover, where it's never too late to get your money straight. So, despite what all of the people on social media, all the bosses and all the ballers who talk about, man, you work a job and you're trading your time for money, that's a dumb thing to do. That's all BS. So, the fact is that the majority of us work a job, so therefore we trade our time for money. All I can tell you is this: make sure that you are getting paid reasonably well for the time that you're spending, and you're doing something that you enjoy doing, and you keep it moving, you get your money, and you live your life. So, the majority of my life, I have worked a full time job, and I have gone out and I've gained the education and the skills necessary to be paid reasonably well for the job that I was doing. Now, with that money that I earned from the job, I did several things with it. I invested in stocks. I invested in real estate. I invested in my children's education. And a couple of years ago, I started investing in cryptocurrency, but primarily Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's just a fun money project for me. But working that job allowed me to have the money to go and invest in these different assets. So if you work a job and you trade your time for money, make sure that you are taking that income and you are also investing it so that one day, if you so choose to, that you don't have to work that job, and that will be at the end of the rainbow waiting for you. With the money that I earned from trading my time, like I mentioned, I invested some of that money, but I also blew some of that money, because what is life without blowing some money that you go out and work for? So I blew some of that money, and in addition, even to this day, there are still things that I think about buying that I want, that I do not need. And one of those things happens to be is a new truck. I like the GMC Sierra Denali trucks. Those are super sharp trucks to me. And those trucks run about 75 to $85,000. But that's just one problem why I couldn't force myself to buy the truck. It's because I'm lazy. And I'll explain. Because I'm lazy, I've chosen to continue driving my paid off 8-year-old car and spend my money on things that buy me back a little bit of my time and a lot of my sanity. After all, working a job as well as running a side business, it takes up a lot of your time. So whenever I can find an opportunity to buy back a little bit of that time and sanity, I will do it, because I value the time over just having a bunch of stuff. So here are 5 things that I spend money on versus buying the new truck. First one is an easy one: car washing. Now, I'm not even sure if adults nowadays even still wash their own cars. I think most people either take their car to the car wash or do those kind of self-serve drive-through type car wash things. So my wife put a different little twist on this. She had a friend who had a guy who would come to your house and wash your car. So that's what we started doing. And all you have to do is pull your car in the garage or pull it up front, and the guy, he'll come, he will clean your car up. I'm talking about, the tire dressing, cleaning your rims, vacuuming, wiping down the inside, the whole nine. He would have your car sparkling and shining when he's done. And all of that for $50 per car. So I'm just going to use myself as an example. If I got my car washed twice a month, then that is $100 a month that I'm spending on car washes, and I'm buying back my time though, because now not only do I not have to get out there and do it myself, I don't even have to drive to the car wash to get it done. I can just basically hand the guy the keys and boom, car's cleaned. Next on the list is house cleaning and folding clothes. I absolutely despise having to do chores around the house in terms of cleaning up. And my wife works a full-time job, and she has a side business doing therapy and supervision in the mental health industry. But I despise doing the chores. And she is not going to come home and do those chores after working basically 2 jobs. So the compromise was, we'll get a house cleaner. And that person comes and they will clean the entire house. They will also, with a little bit of extra dough on it, they will fold all of the clothes, because that seems to be one of the goddamn problems that we have in this house is, man, there's so many damn clothes. Not mine. But there's some people in this house who have a ton of clothes. I ain't saying no names. But she will fold the clothes, put them in baskets, and all we have to do is put them away. And of course, people don't put them away, but I digress. Again, saves a ton of time, and I don't have to do it because I absolutely hate it. So next up is yard service. Back in the day, I used to mow my own lawn, but that was a long time ago. And I even at one point tried to get my teenage kids to mow the lawn. But in having them do it, I ended up yelling at my son so much that it was the stress level was just too much because, I wanted to punch him because that's how angry he made me. But you can't do that. So I said, I'm just going to hire somebody to come and mow the damn lawn and I don't have to do it. So hired somebody, and during the summer months, they come every week because my wife is anal about the yard being cut. And that costs about $60, per service. So if you get it done 4 times, you're talking $240 a month on getting the yard mowed. On top of that, my wife decided that she hates weeds in the yard. So she hired True Green to come once a month to treat the lawn so that we don't have weeds. And that cost about $80 a month. And they will come spread the little granules around and whatever else they do. And I used to do that, but man, it took up so much damn time for me to be, I got to go buy the big bag of granules. Then I got to push this little spreader around the damn yard, in the backyard, on the side, and so forth. And I hated it. So I wasn't mad about her getting that service done. So it took that off of my plate, and we spend $80 a month doing it. So next up is home repairs. Once upon a time, I used to be a pretty handy dude. I grew up in the country watching my dad do a bunch of handyman stuff, and I picked up on that stuff and carried it throughout my life. But, I got to a point to where I don't want to do that stuff anymore. I don't want to spend my weekend doing a bunch of damn, repairs around the house. So hire that stuff out, and I don't have to do it. I get back my time, get back my sanity. So in the past year, I spent about $2,400 on repairs. One repair was a siding repair, and the other one was a fireplace repair. And those came to about $2,400. So I'm going to use $2,400 as just a base number of what I would spend monthly on doing home repairs, even though the repairs may be different. I'm just going to say spend $2,400 a month, $200 a month on repairs so that I don't have to spend my time doing those repairs, and I love it. Now, the biggest item on the list is property management. So I own 13 rental properties, and I made a conscious decision that I am not going to manage these properties. So I have a property manager who takes care of that because I absolutely hate most tenants. I'm not going to say all. I'm going to say most, because some people believe that their financial troubles should be your financial troubles. Even if you try to work with people sometime, which I do, with, they run into a rough patch, we'll let them be late, and then we'll, tack on some late fees, and we'll work with them to try to get caught back up. But if you do that and then you turn around and fall back behind again, now I feel like you're just abusing the system, and we got to get tough with you. But nevertheless, I don't want to hear your sob stories. Save that for the property manager, and I will just manage the property manager and have her carry out my deeds. So that's $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year that I spend on property management, and I would say that every penny of it is worth it. So as you can see, I spend over $2,000 a month on buying back little pieces of my time and big chunks of my sanity, right? And sometimes I look at that and say, man, would it be so bad if I did a few of these chores, or I did a few of these home repairs, or if I managed these properties? Because that money right there, that's my new truck money right there. But I just can't do it because I would lose my freaking mind if I had to do the chores, I had to do the repairs, and I had to deal with a bunch of freaking tenants. Not to mention, we still have a 14-year-old who somebody needs to watch after him to make sure that, he doesn't, burn the house down, as well as we have two young adult children who still live at home. And even though we don't have to watch after them the same way, I mean, somebody has to still teach them and make sure that they're not out here smoking crack or stripping. So what is the moral of the story? So the moral of the story for me is that money is important, but time is important as well. And as a matter of fact, time is the most important thing that we all have. And if you can afford it, I would highly suggest that you take a look at buying back pieces of your time from those routine, mundane tasks that you absolutely despise and hate in your life. And the only thing that you have to sacrifice for this is stuff. And a lot of the times people are spending, excess money on clothes, shoes. I mean, there are people who have, 50, 100 pair of shoes and they want a new car every 5 years when the one that they have is perfectly fine and paid off. And these are the things that people would rather do, and then they will complain about being busy and having to do this and having to do that and never having enough time to do anything. Well, maybe if you thought about less stuff, and I'll spend a little bit of that money on getting some time back and avoiding some of those things that I just absolutely hate doing. I say that's a win-win. Now, I totally understand that a lot of you will disagree with me, and some of you might even say that I'm stupid for spending that amount of money just to avoid doing some chores and doing a little bit of work, and I can't be mad at you. As a matter of fact, I would love to hear your perspective, so drop me a comment and let me know your thoughts. In the meantime, take care of yourself and be safe out here in these social media streets.